What is good, my beautiful people? I just wanted to record a quick video, a different style of video today, because I keep getting these questions that come up in the community, and I feel like if they keep coming up and up and up, it's something that I can address and just say on a video, and then hopefully a lot of people find value from it instead of me just saying it to 1 or 2 or 5. So today I wanted to talk a little bit about how I don't really run into creativity issues anymore in terms of output. Obviously I still suffer with beat block, I still suffer with this, that and whatever, but in general I'm always able to create something. I recently went through that thing where I posted a video every day. It wasn't really an issue or a struggle for me. I didn't have any videos, it's just something I was trying. I got a lot of comments about, God, how does he do that? God, how's he doing it every day, banger after banger and stuff like that. It wasn't really the case of like me being on a streak or anything. It's just having that consistent output really helped. So I wanted to dig a little bit into that. I'm going to talk about that now. I got 4 ways to stay creative and stay inspired. Number 1, copy relentlessly. So for me, this is something that I've always done, I still do, and I plan to do far into the future. I copy religiously, relentlessly. I've always listened to music. I always listen to music, and most of the time what I'm listening to are people that I enjoy and people who I admire creatively. So anytime I hear something that catches my ear, or captures, even if it's not necessarily to do with music, if there's something in nature, or if there's something inspirational to me, I'm trying to capture that idea down. I'll write it on a pad. I've got music playlists for songs that like inspire me in so many other ways, but I'll try and capture that idea. And I don't care, man. In this room, it's just me. I will copy 1 to 1, right? I will literally try to remake exactly what the magic that I felt when I first listened or heard or saw or felt that particular piece of inspiration, right? Because inevitably you're going to get to a place where you're going to want to make slightly different decisions from what you've heard. And what happens is that towards the end of that process, you're going to end up with something that isn't the exact same as what you've copied. It's an expression of how you would imitate that same emotion, right? So that's something that I'm always doing. I've got a playlist I think I shared with you guys of songs that like get me going, or songs that I wish I could make, songs I wish I'd thought of first. And not only am I trying to utilize the skills that I get from remaking them 1 to 1, but also I'll say, if I wanted to make a different song in a similar style, how would that sound? If I wanted to make something that was similar but faster, how would that sound? If I wanted to make something that had the same melodies but a totally different chord progression, how would that sound? And that exploration basically gives you ideas for days, gives you ideas for weeks. Number 2, don't be so hard on yourself. So one of the big things that I always get is that like, oh, I can't get out of beat block. And what I tend to see is that you're not actually dealing with beat block as in you cannot make a beat. You haven't forgotten the technical skills. You still know what you knew yesterday, but oftentimes what you're making in that particular time isn't living up to the expectations that you have on yourself for what you should be making, right? That's something that I always dealt with, and I always had that issue, especially coming off a song or a single that's done well. I'll be asking myself, gosh, I need to make something that's that, if not better, right? And that mindset is the thing that's going to give you beat block, because you won't be able to recreate that moment in time. You won't be able to create that amazing beat. You won't be able to recreate that amazing song, whatever it is. But what you will be able to do is create more things, and don't put the expectation on it that it needs to hit a certain benchmark to be yours or to be worthy of attention, because nothing will meet that benchmark in the beginning, right? It's just not feasible. You'll put so much work into the first thing to make it perfect that you're not allowing any time for exploration. If there's no time for exploration, the best you can do is a carbon copy or something that's very similar of your last track, right? So go through that process of creating those whack dead ass beats, and know that that is something that has to happen to get towards your next banger, whether it's going to be even bigger than your last track or just something that's slightly different. That's something for you to decide. But in general, you just need to know that you have to create those dead ass crap stuff, and at the end of the day, just do it. Just make it, even if it doesn't feel like it's good. Try and push that idea as far as that idea can go, right? And then hopefully you'll learn some things from that, and maybe after 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times you'll have something that you freaking love and you'll be like, damn, I didn't even know I could do that. Cool. Number 3, create like it's your job. This is something that I do. So I've recently dropped the videos back to once every other day, but I make music in some way every single day. I can, if you guys want, record it every single day and just show you guys what I get up to, but I am making music every single day. And the idea is that even if you don't have inspiration, we don't wait for inspiration to strike. I will literally just sit myself down between those hours with the Ableton session up, with the Logic session up, and maybe I'll have a little project that I need to work on, and maybe I'll have a mix that I need to work on, maybe not. But regardless, I'll be sitting there in those hours and paying my dues towards creating something, right? And what happens is that consistency is the thing that builds the inspiration. So at the moment, I don't struggle with things to do because I feel like I've got a laundry list of things that I need to get done within those hours, right? And then you'll realize that on those particular times, inspiration isn't a necessity for you to work. It's helpful, it's awesome, it's great to have a few ideas to pull from, but even if you don't have those ideas, you're still going to create, you're still going to put up the session, you're still going to start exploring ideas, and inevitably you're going to end up with something. So that's a good way to hold the commitment. Don't wait for inspiration to strike, just do it whenever you can do it. And then lastly, finish things. Finishing things is one of the most powerful ones, and I think it's one of the most underrated ones. I have a good friend of mine who was working on an album. He was working on this album for so long. He had a collection of like 7, 8, 9 songs that needed mix, that needed the master, that needed everything done to it, and he was doing it all himself, similar to how I do. And it was taking like what, 5, 6, maybe even 7 months, right? Ongoing. The issue with that was, during those 7 months while he was working on this project, he didn't feel the need or the love, or didn't have any space in his heart, God, that's cheesy, to like create new music, create new ideas, right? He still had things that he needs to get done on his current project, right? And that's the issue with having things that hang over you creatively, right? Creatively, I find that's one of the things that like can really halt progress. So if you're making a beat, try your best to finish that beat. Don't like kind of park it to the side, start a new one every time. You're going to learn the most if you finish it to a conclusion which you can decide. So you can decide whether, okay, I'm going to finish the beat, put it up on the store. I'm going to finish the beat, upload it to YouTube. I'm going to finish the beat, find an artist. I'm going to make the song, put it up on streaming platforms. I'm just going to finish the beat and put it on streaming platforms. Give yourself a way to say, I'm not going to touch that again, and that is complete. And then that gives you the room to find new inspirations. It gives you the room to try something different. Otherwise, when your mind goes somewhere creatively, it goes to, how can I make this thing that I was doing better forever, right? You'll always be in a cycle of, how can I do this? How can I do this? How can I do that to this track, to this song? Whereas you're never giving yourself the opportunity to basically move on and find something else, right? So you'll see with my music, I have a very particular workflow that I go through, and inspiration will come in at any point, whether I find a vocal melody or I find a drum groove or whatever. At any point, they go through to a similar funnel and out pops either a beat or a song. It's like what's it called? Henry Ford invented it, that thing called in the factories, what he invented, but like the factory line. It's like a factory line, literally, where once an idea can come in, it can come in from anywhere. I filter it through the factory line, and then out pops the same product every time. And I'll put a bow on it, I'll put a nice little piece of cover art, and then I'll put it somewhere, whether that's the store or YouTube or streaming platforms or whatever, and then I won't touch it again. If I've learned something new or I want to try something, that will give me the opportunity to try it on something entirely new, right? And I really think that if you manage to do that, it's going to allow you to keep basically emptying the vessel, right? You empty yourself as a creative vessel, and you're able to carry on just allowing things to flow through you, right? That sounds so cheesy, but you know what I mean? Yeah, that sounds crazy cheesy now that I think about it, but it's so necessary. I think just create things, finish them, put them somewhere, and then move on to the next thing quick as you can. And that next thing, doesn't matter what it is, it can be trash, can be great. And what you'll also find is your progress as you make music will just rocket up as you go through this process. Because one of the biggest difference between people who are doing music for a hobby and people who are doing music with real career potential, in my opinion, is literally just their ability to finish something. They can say, look, here's a finished product, I'm not touching this again. That's the file, right? And if you can do that, power to you, my guys. Hope that helps. Let me know if this is the kind of video that you like. Obviously, I've got so many more gems. We have access to like the one-to-ones as well. So you can obviously talk to me if you have like some individual stuff you want to talk about. You can do that as well. Join the newsletter down below for like daily tips. I share like some free source plugins that I'm using, cool ideas I might have, and some more mindset stuff like this. If you want to learn not only just how to produce, but you also want to learn how to market your music and where to go after you've got the finished track, you want to collab with different people and stuff and work with myself and do cool stuff like that, that's exactly what the community is for. I'll leave a link in the description so you can check that out. Newsletter, daily tips, community, and what else? Leave a comment if there's something that you want me to talk about. I was going to do like mindset stuff, but then if you also want to like regular, what's the difference between this and this, how do I do this and this, music theory, whatever, I'll make it happen. As always, I appreciate you guys. I love you guys a lot. Have a great day, evening, night, whatever you are, and peace out.